All right, well, we're spectating Bragi now and Gibbon, and looks like,
Six of diamonds.
yeah, still loading, but we got a red-blue deck from Bragi here. Red-blue, again, is very popular. He's also running Jamoy, which is one of these basic heroes. Every person that buys the game starts with 5 basic heroes, including Jamoy, the blue one. There's one basic hero for every color, so Jamoy is a 3/8 with a passive that has a 4-turn cooldown, draw a card. It's actually a really, really weak passive. I mean, 4-turn cooldown means you're only going to be using it once, maybe twice. But 8 health is okay on a blue hero. It's not great. I don't know. Overall, he's not going to see a lot of play once you get the actual good heroes. Also, his signature card, which, as you guys know, you get 3 of in every deck, is Battlefield Control, which is choose a unit, choose a combat target for it. It's also not a good signature card compared to stuff like Eclipse for Luna or Thunder God's Wrath for Zeus.
Isn't it?
What's that?
Isn't it good?
You
Because there's also Nicker in the chat. He's not gonna tell you that Battlefield Control is bad.
no.
In fact, it's pretty good, especially if you look at the Kiev's signature card. That one is a terrible card.
Well, Keith's also like one of the worst heroes in the game. But yeah, Fighting Instinct, modify a red hero with +1 attack and +1 armor for 5. Compare that to anything else. That is awful. He does have a nice big body though, 6'1", but yeah, that's basically a dead card.
So the only synergy with this card I can think of is the coup de grace, maybe. So that if you're lucky enough, you just discard this.
Yeah, that's like basically any card though. Silver Knicker says there's only 4 basic heroes. Yeah, sorry. I keep thinking there's 5 colors for some reason. There's only 4 colors. So here's the basic heroes. Farvan the Dreamer. A green hero with 411 who gives his allied neighbors +1 armor. Actually, one of the good... he's actually decent for a basic hero, I think. Jamoy is not good. Keith the Bold is not good. And then the black one is called... Here it is. Riley the Cunning. She has Work the Knife, which is... She deals +2 damage when attacking a hero or tower. She's a 7/5 black hero. And her signature card is a 3 mana cost, deal 3 damage to a unit. She's actually fine also, I think. What do you think, Don? I think Riley and Chamoy... Or, sorry, Riley and...
She's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Once
Farvan...
she was against my Bristleback in draft.
Yeah.
And the guy just used no accident and prevented Bristleback from snowballing right over the bat.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Farvan has Prowler Vanguard, which is a really good defensive unit at 0/8, and he gives his allies +1 armor. So I definitely think the green and black basic heroes are better. The thing though is, like, green doesn't have any super OP heroes like some of the other colors. Like Lycan's pretty good.
Except Omni Knight. Omni is insane if you get him in the draft, but he is rare, and that's a problem.
Yeah. But in constructed though, I mean, I feel like green's the weakest constructed color. Their heroes are all pretty okay. And
Troll Ranger should be OP.
that's what I keep hearing.
Because her card is Gust, it should be some sort of...
It's like a silence that affects all neighbors that are across from her.
Either AoE or something.
Yeah, I've heard AoE silence. It's
gonna be global, but...
Alright, let's check out Gibbon's deck here. He is running green-red, which we actually haven't seen yet. Chen, Lycan, and Treant Protector. This to me says that he's going to be running some kind of wide board minion strategy. Lycan we should talk about. I think Lycan is the best green hero right now. Omni's good too, but Lycan's signature is Savage Wolf, which is a minion. It's a 3/3 wolf, and if he survives the combat phase, you modify him with +1 attack and +2 health. So this is a minion that can spiral out of control really fast, and you can play it on turn 2. And then Lycan also has a passive ability. Lycan's allied neighbors have +2 attack. So if you go wide on the board and drop Lycan down, all of a sudden you're doing a lot of tower damage. The big problem to me with this strategy is blue has so many tools that can just completely negate it, right? They have Conflagration, which is deal 2 to each enemy before the action phase. So if you have a wide board, Conflagration is just going to completely eliminate your board. They also, of course, have Annihilation, which just kills all creeps, and creeps don't respawn like heroes, so that's just really bad. So, I mean, I was trying to theory craft a green wide board strategy, but it's really hard to do if you're keeping in mind those blue spells. So he's running green-red, so he's definitely going to have some big early game presence. You could see over here in lane 2, Axe is going to kill this LC.
Well, I just hope they don't proceed to play like this, because all the arrows should be straight during the first deployment.
Oh, okay. Bragi, if you're still in the stream, during the first deployment, all arrows go straight.
Yeah, there might be another thing, but it's not entirely confirmed from what we were seeing with the Nicker. If there is a 1 versus 3 on the lane, I think it should be the unit, the hero, which is 1. He should be in the middle, so centered, related to other 3 units.
Can you
That's
repeat
just
that?
how scripts work there.
Can you repeat that? If it's 1 versus 3, what happens?
So Legion would be in front of X. So she should be centered, I think.
Is that just round 1, or is that...
Yeah, I think it's just round 1. It's not confirmed, but we haven't seen during watched PAX videos, and we haven't seen this, setup where the hero is on the edge.
Gotcha. And Tidehunter's art is very cool. Tidehunter has... His signature card is one of the only signature cards that gives you initiative, which is pretty interesting. Let's take a look. Kraken Shell, 1 mana, which is very good for a get initiative card. Modify a red hero with +1 armor. I think this card's pretty decent, actually. Initiative can be very important, especially later in the game. Like round 6 or round 5 when your coup de grace come online. It's very important to get initiative going into your important lanes. So, yeah, 1 mana spell that can do that allows you to play some other stuff that round as well. So, very good. Or you could use this to combo with some other cards. Because when you get initiative, you get to play again right away. So, you could maybe give someone an armor and then duel with them, which would be pretty useful. Just overall, a very strong card. He has 18 health also. He is just a monster. But he only does have 2 attack. So you really need to get a weapon on him right away. A short sword or a Stonehall pike would be really good on him. Just something to get him up to 4 attack so he can kill creeps. Bragi says he doesn't see his hand. Says he's having a bug.
And I think if you change the color, you should be a game master and see both hands. Just try to change color, and if there's black in the middle, go for it.
Just gray. Do you know if your opponent is watching the stream? Because if he's not, we can just... Well, actually, we don't want to show Bragi his opponent's hand. You could try saving the board and restarting the game, I guess. Yeah, we don't want to show you each other's hands, so... Can you see your cards? I'm following the chat in the bottom left for those of you guys watching.
Or we could set it up so that he sees at least his hand.
Yeah, we could do that and kick Gibbon out of the stream. Okay, he says he can see him now. All right, cool. We are ready to go. Coming over here to lane 1, where we have Treant Protector versus Tide Hunter. 3 mana, round 1. Both players have 5 cards. Right now, Treant Protector is going to be killing this creep. Tide Hunter is going to be attacking the tower for 2 damage. Treant Protector has a passive ability where his allied neighbors have +2 armor. So Treant is a very good support for if you want to go wide. And like I said, he's got Lycan, he's got Chen. He's going to be playing some kind of minion strategy. Round 1, he's probably not afraid to plop down one of his minions in front of Tide Hunter, just because 2 damage is not enough to get any kills. So let's see what he has access to for 3 mana. Maybe a Rebel Decoy. I think maybe it's too early to play one of those. So if he has Mists of Avernus, that's really his dream starting card. And he's going to play... He's actually going to go ahead and play a Savage Wolf. I'm not sure... Oh, he played Stars Align, so he gave himself +3 mana, which puts him at 5. And then he plays a Savage Wolf for 4, so he's got 1 mana left. I don't think he has anything that he can play for 1, but... Yes. +2 armor there, so Savage Wolf is going to be a 3/2/3. Tide Hunter is going to do no damage to it. It's going to do 2 damage to Tide, and then it's going to go up to a 4/2/5. So this Savage Wolf, man, getting that out round 1 is so good. This thing is definitely going to be able to keep spiraling out of control.
But this will take forever for him to kill the Tide Hunter.
That's true. Tide Hunter does present a big problem. He's just a big wall. It's good to have this Savage Wolf ramping up, but by turn 6, Tide Hunter's still going to be here, and this Savage Wolf isn't going to be attacking the tower, which is really what Gibbon wants. But Bragi's going to be able to bring in one of his blue heroes and annihilate by turn 6 before this Savage Wolf is able to do anything to the tower.
Oh, didn't notice. It's a cool combo of having a Tide Hunter and Shaker. Not that it's really that good from the effectiveness standpoint, but just having 2 Ravages or 2 Fissures effectively.
Yeah, that's true. We didn't talk about Tide Hunter's active. It's called Ravage, which if you've played Dota, this is just a huge AoE stun. And they do that in Artifact as well. You stun his enemy neighbors, which are the 3 heroes across from him and diagonal. And then for each other enemy in the lane, there's a 50% chance of being stunned. Again, if you weren't watching us on Friday, stunned is a combination of silence and disarm, which means that your opponents don't attack during the attack phase, and they cannot cast any spells. So, green heroes are needed if you want to play any green spells, and if your green heroes are silenced, then you can't play any green spells. If you have no heroes in a lane, you just can't play any spells, or if all your heroes are silenced. So Ravage is a big shutdown ability, and what Don here was talking about is there's also a hero called Earthshaker. What is he, a blue hero? He also has a similar active Fissure, which is also on a 4-turn cooldown. Fissure is stun Earthshaker's enemy neighbors this round. So if you have both Tidehunter and Earthshaker, you can completely shut a lane down for 2 whole rounds, which is a pretty big deal. Those stuns, if you're coming from Hearthstone, it's kind of like playing Blizzard 2 turns in a row. It just completely shuts your opponent's play down for 2 turns. So over to lane 2 here. Did any cards get played that I missed? Doesn't look like it. Gibbon, what he really wants to play from his red heroes are those Legionnaires, Bronze Legionnaires. These creeps for 2 mana, you get 4 attack, 2 armor, and 2 health. That is just a beastly creep for 2 mana. Bragi played New Orders, which is a red spell. Choose an ally, choose a combat target for it. So over here in lane 2, he probably made Axe attack Legion Commander. Oh wait, sorry. Bragi's red. He probably made Legion Commander attack Axe. So that would be 6 damage against 2 armor would be 4 damage going through on Axe. So Axe moves down to 7 health. Yep. Legion Commander takes 1 damage from the creep. So Axe will not do any damage to Legion Commander because Axe is attacking the tower. So yes, you are correct. So that's 1 mana, 2 mana left over here. Doesn't look like Gibbon has anything to play in lane 2, so actions moving to lane 3. It should be Gibbon's initiative. Probably doesn't want to play anything over here. Again, Bronze Legionnaire is the dream card for Gibbon, but he doesn't want to put it right in front of Axe because it'll just die. So he's probably just going to hang on to that. He passes initiative over to Bragi. So he's going to be getting initiative in round 2 on lane 1. And okay, so
One thing is, it doesn't really look like a draft kind of deck, especially for Gibbon, I think.
yeah, these guys are definitely playing constructed.
Or it's a draft with lots of attempts.
I
Because Axe and Chant both are rare.
well, I feel like if you see Axe and LC, that's pretty much gonna be every constructed deck that has red.
Right.
I've seen people messing around with Axe and Bristleback or Axe and Ursa, but usually it's Axe and LC. All right.
I just hope that over time people will move away from these heroes, potentially.
Yeah, I don't see how you can move away from Axe at 7-11. And Legion Commander's got Duel, which is really good. If you're not familiar with Legion Commander, her signature card is called Duel. Right here. Choose an allied red hero and another unit. They battle each other. So that's a really good card for picking people off, especially because red heroes typically have the best bodies, both high attack and high health and armor. So Duel is a really good card at picking off fragile blue heroes. So she is a very popular choice. I don't think either player has a lot of money to spend. Gibbon has 2 gold. Bragi has 3. As far as card advantage, Bragi has 4 cards and Gibbon has 3. They're both kind of low on cards. They both played some early round ones. And as far as heroes coming out, Earthshaker's going to move to the ready box. Over here, Chen's going to move to the ready box. And I believe should be Jamoy coming out over here for Bragi. Lycan is coming out in lane 2 for Gibbon. So lane 1, Bragi's going to put up a fight against this Savage Wolf. He really needs to take it down before it gets too out of control. With Jamoy there, he does have access to his 4 mana blue spells. I'm not sure exactly what he can play to get rid of that creep, though. He wants to get something like Conflagration down, but maybe Jamoy's spell could work. Battlefield control.
Just thinking, even if it's a constructed deck,
Yeah.
let's see what would be the win condition for a red blue. If it's a draft, I don't think that there's a real chance for a draft deck like this to succeed. It's gonna be really hard to imagine what's the win condition for a red blue with these heroes, because on their own they're not really pushing the tower damage.
Right. This is not the typical red blue constructed deck we normally see because Jamoy hardly ever gets played, and Tidehunter is a fun hero, but yeah, with 2 attack, you really need to get a Stonehall Pike on him for him to get some use. Stonehall Pike, again, is the weapon that every time you survive combat, which is going to be always for Tidehunter because he's got 18 health and armor, you modify him with +1 attack, so he can also spiral really quick if you get this Stonehall Pike on him early. Just a short sword, honestly, on Tidehunter makes him a lot better.
The biggest problem is how do you kill heroes with such lineup? So Tidehunter doesn't get any kills for sure.
Right,
He's one of
you
the
are
4
running
heroes.
duel with LC, but there's really no point to dueling someone with Tidehunter because you're only pushing 2 damage through. So what's the point in dueling? So yeah, I agree. How do you kill heroes with this deck? You need to survive till round 8, and then you got to get your Time of Triumph out. That seems pretty clear.
When we can check the decks. So if you hover over one of the decks, I don't think that it's gonna spoil anything. We don't even have to announce what we're seeing. So just right click it and search.
I cannot right click.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think since I'm an observer, I'm locked out of that. All right. Well, we missed the action on lane 1. I don't think anything big got played. Doesn't
Another
look like
Savage
it.
Wolf.
Oh, another Savage Wolf. Okay. And it's next to Treant Protector, which means it's getting that 2 armor. That is very important. Treant Protector killed the creep that was across from him. And these
I'm just
Savage
not
Wolves are
sure
going to
how-
spiral. What's that?
I'm not sure how he managed to spawn Savage Wolf here. So try to imagine that Savage Wolf isn't here. What was the deployment at the start of the round?
It was blank there.
Yeah, and how would it happen? Because the
Uh,
melee creep should have
there was a
gone.
creep across from Treant Protector.
So there was a creep next to the trend in front of melee creep.
Uh, there was,
No, I mean instead of Savage Wolf, so it was an empty space.
yeah, this space was
And
empty.
it shouldn't be an empty space with this kind of setup. So this melee creep should have gone in front of Trend Protector during the deployment phase.
There was a melee creep there.
So there was a melee creep.
Yes, yes. This space was not empty. It
So
died
my
during
question
combat.
then is, how did it die?
Treant killed it.
No, another one instead of Savage Wolf. It would be easier to show in the game, but all right.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure what you're saying.
I
Lane
mean, to summon a Savage Wolf, you need an empty space here. And
right.
if it was an empty space, how would it happen? I don't think that it should be an empty space in
You
this
think
case.
this creep should have spawned here? Is that what you're saying?
Uh, yep. Or a Radiant melee creep should have spawned in front of Trend Protector. I don't remember whether it was there or not.
There definitely was a creep here. And then this
So it
melee
was a
creep had a 50% chance of spawning in one of these two spots, and he spawned in the right spot. So this was empty. I think that's what happened. I'm not 100% sure. But let's go over to lane 2. Kraken Shell got played to give Legion Commander an extra armor. She is getting attacked by Axe and Lycan this turn, so that extra armor is not going to save her. But also a Bronze Legionnaire comes out for Gibbon. So he is going wide on lane 2. Unfortunately, his Lycan gets put on the end, which means he's only getting half of his passive. His neighbors get +2 attack, but that's only affecting this creep right here. It is enough to finish off the LC. However, it could be getting even more damage through on the tower. But killing that LC is also useful. I'm not sure if the Kraken Shell was that useful. He really didn't need to get initiative there. He maybe could have hung on to that because it didn't keep his LC alive. But yeah, going into lane 3, he's going to have initiative anyway. He might be able to... a duel is not going to kill this LC because she has 1 armor. She'd be 1 off. But lane 2 is definitely going Gibbon's way right now. Earthshaker will be coming out next round. His Fissure is not off cooldown yet. It'll
So
be
yeah,
1 turn off cooldown.
just look at the third lane. I think that's just some messing with the way deployment works.
This
Maybe they
creep
don't
should...
delete the arrows. Yep. And I think that's effectively what happened in the first lane too.
Oh, I see
With
what you
the
mean.
steps.
So if you guys are still listening, you have to delete the arrows before you click the deploy. There should not be multiple arrows right here. You have to delete these every time,
So
or
yeah,
else it's
this
going to
melee
mess
creep
up
would have been in
deployment.
front of it.
Yeah, this melee creep should not be in an empty space. It should be in front of Axe. I mean, it does... Yeah, okay, so they spun the arrows, so it doesn't matter.
I mean, you just delete the arrows and move the creep in front of X. And I think that's what happened in the first lane too.
Yeah,
There
I
was an
think you're
undeleted
probably right.
arrow.
Okay, they acknowledge what we just said. They're going to be deleting those arrows from now on. Hey, do you guys mind orienting your cards the same way? So, like, for instance, in lane 2, Lycan is up and Axe is upside down. If you could just spin your cards so they're the same orientation. Alright, New Orders is getting played again. Bragi is dropping a lot of small cost cards. I'm not sure who he's going to order. So, new orders, Don. Are you allowed to pick any enemy in the lane, or does it have to be one of your neighbors?
It should be one of your neighbors. You're just changing the direction of your arrow.
Right. Yeah. So,
Try
Bragi,
to imagine there's
you're
this little arrow in front
right.
of
Right. Right.
your hero, like in the game.
So you cannot use new orders here to attack Legion Commander because she's not one of Axe's neighbors. That's it's not quite how new orders works.
And if I get it right, it works for this turn only. So say if you redirect your axe to another melee grip,
Yeah.
next turn it's gonna reset, and if there's nothing in front of him, you'll get another arrow card.
Right.
And
That's how I understand it as well. Yeah, it's just a one-turn deal.
the only exception if there was a creep in front of axe.
Yes.
I'm not sure about the exception like this.
Yeah,
There
you could
Pex
use new
video.
orders to attack the tower instead of the creep, but you can't use it to attack Legion Commander instead of the creep. Okay, so creep combat happens. Both of these creeps die. LC is going to shift one space over because you can't have any empty columns. And then just make sure to delete these arrows. And don't forget to delete the arrows on lane 2 as well. And do you mind flipping your cards into the same orientation on the other lanes as well? Alright, so the buy phase is happening. Only 2 gold here for Bragi, is that right? He hasn't killed any heroes yet. On the other side, only 3 gold. So this is actually a very slow ramp game compared to the one we were playing earlier. Green is more of like a get a wide board and get your board to attack the tower, rather than a color that actively fights against heroes.
Or a color of some shenanigans with the ramp.
Yeah.
I think that ramp is vastly overrated. Like you see this stars align Sediments favor into emissary of the quorum combo once.
Yeah.
You're pretty much impressed by how it goes if it's early.
Yeah.
But it's not consistent enough. And I think there was another video recently by a beta tester saying the same thing. So
The way I feel about it is it's a good mechanism in place for if there is eventually something in the game that's worth ramping into, but the problem right now is that there's just not enough. Like, that's the thing, right? It's like not consistent, but the reason is because there's just not enough options to ramp into right now, in my opinion. I'm not sure. What do you think about that?
I'm not sure that I agree with this one in terms of you still need some sort of consistency. Even if there are some big spells, I
Yeah.
think there are also not enough ramp cards in the first
Yeah,
place.
that's true too.
Maybe if there are some unreleased cards, it might change. Right now, we only have 3 of them, and I wouldn't count Trend Protector as an impressive card in this regard.
Agreed. So we haven't looked at Treant's signature card, but it's Roseleaf Druid, which gives your tower +1 mana. The other ramp cards are Salamani's Favor, which is a improvement, so you can play it on any lane, and that gives your tower +2 mana. And then the last one we already saw was that Stars Align, which I cannot scroll all the way over to, but it's over here. Give your tower +3 mana this round. So it costs 1 to play, so it essentially gives you 2 mana to use this round. But yeah, there's not really that much as far as consistency. Like it's very hard to draw your Salamani's Favor round 2, which is when you need it. But there's
Maybe
also really
it
not
might be
that much
difficult
worth
to.
ramping into. Time of Triumph is the big one, I think. I think green red is the only combination I've seen with green so far. And if you can ramp into Time of Triumph on round 4, that can be really, really big. But
So yeah, time of terms, bring the trap, some green cards.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, it's like you said, very inconsistent. Uh,
So yeah, if it's a red green, it's pretty inconsistent. Maybe green blue might be better in this regard. You have Diabolic Revelation, you have Cunning Plans, Compels, lots of cycle things.
true. Um, green
But
or blue also has Dimensional Portal, which can uh, pair well with green's buff cards. Summon 3 melee creeps for 4 mana is very strong.
the drawback is for sure we don't know all the cards yet, but
Yeah,
for blue there's no such thing as Time of Triumph on Spring the Trap right now.
right.
Maybe Bolt of
Bolt of Damocles, or however you pronounce that. But even
Void,
that,
yeah.
it's like it doesn't offer anything on the board until turn. You would be playing it in turn 6, so you'd have to
Mm,
play blue green kind of aggro ramp.
if I was playing this card, I would try to build the deck to, you know, survive enough to play it naturally without any ramp effects.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
my idea.
I agree with you that ramp is not worth building right now. I don't think I would mess around with Treant that much.
Because once it works, it's impressive, but sometimes you draw your ramp cards and you don't have your big cards to ramp into.
Yeah.
So you have lots of mana and nothing to play with it. Sometimes it's the other way around. You don't have your ramp cards and your hand is full of big things.
Yeah, yeah. It's just you need better ways to get cards in hand, and you need more options for ramping. Active,
It's not only that. You also have to survive somehow in the meantime.
true, but green does have some pretty healthy heroes compared to blue and black. Um, Active Defiance just got played on round or lane 1. Modify allied creeps with +2 attack and +1 armor. So man, these Savage Wolves are, look at them, 7/3/7 and 6/3/5. These are basically heroes at this point. Um, Again, it is mana turn 5, which means next turn Bragi has access to Annihilation, which is just going to make these Savage Wolves go away forever. So buffing these guys seems really good, but it is very vulnerable to Blue's control. Right now, they are really beefy. I mean, 7/3/7 is better than Tidehunter's 2/1/4. Tidehunter is about to die.
It's better than Maisie.
Yeah. Um. So one creep dies. Jamoy only has 2 health. Tidehunter only has 4 health. Meanwhile, these Savage Wolves are just beefy. The problem is Jamoy is not dead. Gibbon needs to find a way to kill Jamoy before Jamoy can play Annihilation. Oh, that is very useful. Oh, thank you so much for telling me that. That makes it so much easier to see. Oh my god. I did not know you could do that. This is so much better.
Oh yeah, I wanted to tell you about this after watching the VOD yesterday.
Oh my goodness, I can't believe I didn't know this. This is making it so much better. Okay. Action goes to lane 2. Again, keep in mind that initiative's going to be really important going into lane 1 next round, so keep that in mind as action goes to lane 3. Earthshaker's Fissure is still on cooldown, I believe, until next round.
The problem is these gaps right there.
Oh, yeah, so Lycan
Same.
should be moved over a space.
So yeah, just a lane collapses there. The same
Yes,
should be
there
for the
should
third
never
lane.
be an open column, so Lycan should be moved over to this column.
And have you noticed the card's orientation? Just a funny thing.
Yeah, so they're all upside down again. That's okay.
No,
Um,
I mean they've heard you, but just changed the orientation to the wrong direction.
yeah. Yes, and Chen's still right side up too. Um, Earthshaker, another blue hero that only has 2 attack. That's pretty typical for blue. He's not going to be doing any damage to this Bronze Legionnaire here. Even though the Bronze Legionnaire only has 2 health, that 2 armor is just really useful at keeping it alive against anything that's not a red or black hero. Well, I guess some green heroes too. Okay. Looks like Bragi is looking over in lane 3. Okay, let's see if anything's going to get played here. Bragi has a bunch of cards. Gibbon only has 4 cards, so he has been able to get his creeps out early on lane 1, which is good. But man, I'm very scared that he's going to get annihilated soon. Actions passing over here to lane 3. I don't think either player played anything in lane 2, as far as I can tell. Tower should have taken some damage here. Earthshaker drops to 1 health. Fissure is going to be off cooldown next round, so another hero that's surviving with 1 health that's going to be really important here for whatever happens next round. No heroes coming out for Gibbon next round. We are going to see LC pop down for Bragi, so LC might be able to get a big duel in somewhere. Maybe in lane 1. Alright, duel's getting actually played in lane 3. Axe is going to duel LC. He's going to be able to do 7 minus 1, 6 damage. It's actually going to leave LC alive with 1 health, but this melee creep should finish her off.
Isn't it 2?
What's that?
Or was Oh, she's at 7 right now.
She is at 7 right now.
I wish Chen could steal heroes, steal the axe.
That would be super broken.
Well, not really. It just forces you to play Chen.
Yeah.
Just play the game
Yeah.
of stealing heroes.
Chen has a 4-turn active cooldown. It's called Holy Persuasion. Get control of an enemy creep. This can be a game-changing ability when it works well, or it can be a completely wasted ability, like probably in this game. Bragi has no reason to play any creeps in lane 3, so Chen might just end up stealing a melee creep, which is pretty not optimal. But in some games, you can imagine if a Horn of the Alpha comes out and Chen can steal that Thunderhide pack, Holy Persuasion is just a game-changing ability. But it looks like this game probably not going to have that much of an impact.
The drawback is that you know that the Chen is in the game. So
Yep.
you're probably not playing Horn of the Alpha on the same lane if you see the Chen.
Maybe, definitely not in the same lane. Maybe not even at all, because you might be worried about a Blink Dagger or something. Chen is definitely one of those heroes where it's not that hard to play around him, I think.
Yep. So if you just compare him to something like Helm of the Dominator, that thing can come out of nowhere on any hero.
Legion Commander actually plays Duel to finish Axe off before she gets finished off by this melee creep. Pretty useful use of Duel there, able to get some value out of Legion Commander before she gets finished off. Then again, he did give up initiative to do that, which means on lane 1 now, Bragi is going to have the first chance to act, and if he has Annihilation, that duel is really going to bite Gibbon in the butt right now. What do you think about that duel play there, Don? Do you agree with that?
Hard to say. It's really hard to say what's the best play, not seeing deck lists, not knowing what win conditions are,
Fair, fair. But
and what are the timings. Even if you do, it might be tricky.
true. Gibbon does have a lot invested in this first lane, though. I think Ravage should be coming off cooldown this turn. No, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4.
So all 4 cooldown abilities come at 7 mana first time.
Okay, so one more turn left on Fissure and Ravage, and also
If
Holy
you really
Persuasion.
manage this.
Yep, make sure you guys delete those arrows. Shopping phase, there's 8 gold over here for Bragi and 9 for Gibbon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards up here for Bragi. One of them could be Annihilation, and he is going to get 2 more. Honestly, so Bronze Legionnaire is OP. It's, as far as the curve goes, let's just look at 2 different cards. Bronze Legionnaire costs 2, 4 attack, 2 armor, 2 health. Doesn't take any combat damage from creeps, so just dominates creep combat. Let's compare that to Blue's card, Better Late Than Never. 3 mana, so 1 more. Summon a melee creep to any lane. So you do get to play it in any lane, which is good, but it's a melee creep. It's a 2/4 with no armor, so way worse than Bronze Legionnaire for +1 mana. Let's look at Black. They have Untested Grunt for 2 mana. I mean, just compare these. It's the same thing without the armor for the same mana, so just way worse here for Black. I mean, yes, Bronze Legionnaire is OP. What does Green have that's similar? I guess Vul Martyr is a 2 mana 2/2. When he dies, he modifies allies with +1 attack and +1 health. I feel like that's really hard to get value out of that death effect, because usually when he's dying, it's to something like an AoE, or it could be. It's just hard to make sure he dies when you want him to die. So, yeah, red definitely has the best creep in the game in Bronze Legionnaire. All right, actions passing over here to lane 1. This is a very, very important round here. Bragi is getting initiative. He has 8 cards. He did buy an item for, I think, 6 gold. Let's see what he does with initiative. He's going to play Cunning Plan. Oh, yep. Swap a unit with one of its allies' neighbors. Draw a card. So he didn't play Annihilation, which means these Savage Wolves are completely safe this round. He's going to swap a melee creep with the Savage Wolf, preventing Tidehunter from dying. So Tidehunter will be around next round to play his Ravage. I think that's probably a good choice if he's not holding Annihilation. If he was holding Annihilation, I definitely would drop it on this lane. Easy. You need to kill these Savage Wolves. These guys are heroes now. 737 and 819 is just a crazy, crazy amount of value.
And next time your Tidehunter gets deployed with a Ravage.
Right. Right.
So just
So,
from trying to play with him when he was released, it's a really cool thing when you're not using it at 7 mana, unless you are forced to do this. You're just threatening this Ravage all the time.
yes.
If you have a Blink Dagger or TP Scrolls, it's usually just a much better play to have this Ravage being available.
True.
Because you know that it's really hard to play it twice in the same game.
Right, exactly. So, I don't know. Tidehunter dying here wouldn't be the end of the world. But Instead, these Savage Wolves live to see another day. Luckily for Bragi, though, neither of them is going into the tower yet. This tower's still somehow at 40 health. Even with all these creeps over here, they just have not attacked the tower yet. 4 damage will go through this time from Treant, but that's it.
The problem is neither does he, so he doesn't push any damage to the tower, and it takes him 2 heroes to defend this tower, so it means less heroes on other lanes.
Yeah,
One of them being Earthshaker, so he's not really a lane pusher as well,
right.
more of a defender. So you only have 2 heroes, and you have to destroy the tower somehow.
True.
So unless there's a Time of Triumph, on Tidehunter it sounds really decent.
True.
So if he drops it in the first lane with Jamui and Tidehunter, it might be a really great idea.
Mists of Avernus gets played in lane 1 from Gibbon. There's a couple things to say about this. If you would have dropped this in lane 2 or 3, it happens this round. So by playing it in lane 1, you're missing out on 1 attack before the action phase. He does play it where he has the most creeps. So starting next round, it will get more value. But, I mean, playing it in lane 2 would get +4 attack right now. So I'm not sure about playing it in lane 1. The other thing is, again, he's committed a lot to lane 1 already. And he could get just completely destroyed by an annihilation over here. So he's kind of putting all his eggs in one basket right now. I'm not sure about this lane 1 Mist of Avernus. It is a very strong card. It's good to get out, but I might put it on lane 2 just to get that extra damage through on the tower right now. Maybe finish off the Earthshaker. Earthshaker's going to die anyway. Lycan is going to put 4 damage in on the tower. I'm not sure. I don't know. I mean, it's a close call. There is only 21 health left on the tower in lane 2, so it's not like he has to commit that much to lane 2.
I think given what he has, you just sacrifice your Earthshaker, give up on the second lane, hope that there are no TPs or Blink Daggers, and apparently the red-green hero is left with 2 heroes in the mid lane. So you buy some time.
Yeah,
And you have all the heroes available to play on other lanes.
right. Yeah, with Annihilation, you could definitely buy some time on lane 2. So maybe that's why he didn't play it on lane 1. Maybe he was saving it for lane 2. Maybe thinking lane 2 is more important to protect than lane 1. Not quite sure.
I mean, you can even save your Annihilation, maybe. So imagine in our Shaker days, Axe is already blocked, Meta Creep's the same, so it's only 8 damage to the tower.
True, true. Yeah, I probably would have dropped it on lane 1 just to get rid of the Savage Wolves, but he's going to have to... I mean, he's not getting a blue hero coming out next round. He's going to have to wait 2 rounds, which means... I mean, look at the damage over here. 10, 5, 5, and 9. And that's all going to increase by 1 before the attack phase next round. So if he doesn't put someone in lane 1, it's definitely lost. So looks like he's just going to give up on lane 1 and focus on 2 and 3. He's also got to be careful about the Ancient, though, because the Ancient could absolutely die in 3 rounds.
Oh, this one is weird then. Because right there it looks like all 3 lanes are lost.
Yeah. 21 health left on Tower 2, 28 on Tower 3. Bragi's got to whip out some of his control cards soon. Mists of Avernus, or sorry, Conflagration would be good to throw down somewhere. Or, Annihilation is still available. Um, there should be 6 mana here on lane 2. I'm only counting 5. Same with lane 3. There should be... I'm not sure why more mana didn't spawn. We see 6 mana over here for Given, but only 5 for Bragi. I'm not sure if that's a bug.
No, kids, you do it in manually on this table.
Gotcha, yes. So there should be one more. There you go.
Somebody's just being lazy.
Yeah, I was lazy last game. I think you did all that for me.
I did all the things because I'm the host and everything is smooth for me.
Gotcha.
I know that it might be a real pain for you navigating with a 200 ping.
Yeah. I've also never played on this board before this morning, so I wasn't 100% familiar with how it worked. But yeah, I appreciate that. I'm going to pause for 1 minute.
Beneficial one.
And I'll be right back. All right, we are back. Sorry about that. Looks like combat is happening here in lane 2. I'm not sure what Bragi played, but his Earthshaker is going down. Doesn't look like anything got played except for Roseleaf Druid, which does give the tower +1 mana, putting him at 7. He is probably trying to ramp into a Time of Triumph here on lane 2. Bragi's in big trouble because lane 1 is going to die. Lane 2 with the Time of Triumph could die next turn also. So Bragi's not getting any blue heroes out to play those big control spells. I'm not sure how he's going to prevent both of these lanes from dying next turn. And lane 3 actually isn't that safe either. Chen could steal a melee creep to push some more damage through on this tower. I guess not till next turn.
That's actually how you learn how these heroes work, because they look impressive with these big spells coming like Fisher or Ravage, but on themselves, they can't be a core of your deck. So
Yeah.
you might want to include all this kind of stuff, but it's more of a utility kind of hero. Like
True.
Nerfshaker and Tide Hunter, maybe playing one hero like this in your deck.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess it depends like what you want your deck to do, right? Like I think the stuns can stack pretty well, just shutting down a lane for multiple rounds in a row. But you need a win condition for sure. Like you can't just win by shutting a lane down. You also need to win the lane.
Even 2 is too much of a commitment.
Yeah, and Jamoy I think is just worthless, right? I mean, draw a card, 4-turn cooldown is just like a worthless active. Not worthless, but very, very under the curve. And 3 attack is really bad on a hero as well.
So it's a basic hero for a reason.
Yes, true. And
But I think that this is compared to Keith and Riley, it is Jimui and the Dreamer might see a play in Constructed potentially. Not sure about the Dreamer, but I've heard about Jimui being uh, decent.
uh,
Not the best
I-
hero for
I'll
sure.
believe it when I see it. Looks like a duel is coming out for LC. A Savage Wolf getting played on Gibbon's side. This Savage Wolf is unblocked, so it is going to get that. Okay, so he did get dueled. Taking care of these Savage Wolves right away is really important because, like you see on lane 1, they can just spiral out of control and get crazy. I mean, let's take another look at the ones on lane 1. 10-1-10 and 9-3-9. Those are some big boy Savage Wolves right there. Some heckin' chonkers right there. Alright, lane 3. Only 2 damage getting pushed on this tower. Chen is still alive, though. He could steal a melee creep next turn to just apply a little bit more pressure. But if Bragi doesn't do anything about lane 1 and 2, it's not going to make it to lane 3 next turn. Axe is going to have to come out and do some kind of really crazy Berserker's Call. Initiative will be actually belonging to Gibbon going into lane 1 next round. So, creep combat happens. This creep dies. This creep takes 2 damage. Shen is going to take... Hey, thanks for the follow. Shen is going to take 6 damage from LC, and he's going to deal 3 damage to LC, so LC lives with 2 health. Shopping phase, 5 gold here for Bragi, 26 for Gibbon. Gibbon just in complete control of this game right now. With 26, I'm sure he's running some Horn of the Alphas in his deck just because he wants that wide board. So let's see how much he spends. If he spends 25 on 1 gold, we know exactly what he bought.
Not 83, but still.
Yeah. Having 80 gold going into round 6, it's pretty good. Pretty good.
And you'd have even more with the track.
Oh yeah, I would have had 100 gold if I got that track.
120 maybe.
120, yeah, because it would have doubled twice. That is just nuts. I could have
From my
bought.
experience, your deck is really good against what I've played.
Yeah, that's kind of. I kind of built it with your deck in mind because I've seen your blue-red deck before. I wanted something that could get the blue heroes off the board when I needed them off the board. So I got those coup de grace. I got the duel.
Yeah. So that's what was happening in TDS meta, at least for me. And I've played with Rus for quite some time, a few weeks ago.
Uh-huh.
Everybody was running this red-blue decks, and I think this gold deck just there was an answer to this kind of meta.
Mm. Yeah. I definitely agree with that. There's kind of a hero killer archetype. I think it's really good against blue. But blue seems really good against most other stuff. Then again, the way Bragi is playing blue is not the typical way. Usually you have either Luna, who's a 3/8 with Lucent Beam, with an signature card Eclipse, which is a good board clear. Or you're playing Zeus, which is a 3/7 with Static Field, which also deals piercing damage, with his signature card being Thunder God's Wrath, which is a big AoE that hits every lane. So having one of those is... I don't think I've ever seen blue played without either Luna or Zeus. They're just so good and synergize so well with the rest of what blue does. I also see Kana getting played a lot just because with 12 health, she can stay alive a lot easier than most of the other blue heroes, and that is very important for blue. But yeah, you can see...
being played as well.
What's that?
Ogre Magi is being played too.
Ogre
especially
also.
with Kana.
Yeah, I've seen Ogre with Kana also a lot. So yeah, I don't think that Earthshaker, Jamoy, uh, that's all he's playing. Earthshaker and Jamoy. I don't think that's a good representation of what blue has to offer.
I really like our shaker coming from Dota, but he just doesn't work that well here.
Yeah, I also am a big fan of Earthshaker in Dota, but I agree with you. It's just it's hard to justify a hero that cannot kill a creep. Um, and Fissure
Not only
takes
that,
so long to come online.
if his spell was better, maybe, but or if there's a right meta for his spell.
So his spell is Echo Slam for 7 mana. Deal damage to each enemy equal to the number of enemies. It's very situational, and it's honestly not that great. Even if there's 4 enemies, it's just deal 4 to each enemy, and it's affected by armor, so
Yes, that's the biggest drawback. If it was piercing somehow, or more damage, like 2 damage for each creature.
yeah, it's basically like clear out the melee creeps. Definitely not that impactful, especially for 7 mana. You really want your 7 mana spells to be just, finish the game off type spells. Mist of Avernus here on lane 1. There was a melee creep spawning here, so that is going to actually prevent 10 damage going through on this tower. Actually, it should be 11 because a Mist of Avernus should modify each of these with +1. I believe this was 10-1-10. It should be 11-1-10 now. Or maybe he already did that. I'm not sure. All right, so initiative passes to Gibbon in lane 2, and now combat's going to happen. The Savage Wolf finishes off that melee creep. Again, that melee creep blocking 10 damage on this tower. So this tower, I think, will survive here. 14, 19 damage going through on the tower. It's going to be alive with plenty of health. Actually, 22 damage going through on the tower because Mist of Avernus was not added in yet. So Mist of Avernus happens before the action phase. So 22 damage going through on that tower. And 11 damage blocked by the melee creep. I think that... So that would have been 33. That still wouldn't have been enough to finish the tower off, but it would have been close. I'm pretty sure they... Oh yeah, 13 health left on this tower. So, big trouble over here, but blue heroes are coming out. 3 heroes coming out. They can definitely defend this lane now. So, the game is not over yet. Bragi does have some comeback stuff. He's got a lot of control spells left, and he's got a ton of cards in hand, so he's got some ways to prevent the tower from dying. Axe over here, probably going to play Berserker's Call, I would think. Berserker's Call would kill the Roseleaf Druid, would kill the melee creep, and would kill the Bronze Legionnaire, and Axe would only take 2 damage. Definitely would be worth it. Of course, that Berserker's Call is Axe's signature card. Choose an allied red hero. It battles each of its enemy neighbors simultaneously, which means Axe deals 7 damage to Roseleaf Druid, Bronze Legionnaire, and the melee creep at the same time that melee creep doesn't do any damage because of the 2 armor, Bronze Legionnaire does 2 damage, and the Roseleaf Druid does no damage. So it would be 21 damage versus just 2 damage going through to Axe. Definitely would be a great time to play. However, Rumesk Blessing comes out for Gibbon. He's going to play that in this lane, which means +3 health for all these heroes, which means a Berserker's Call would no longer kill this Roseleaf Druid. It still would kill the melee creep and Bronze Legionnaire. So it's still probably worth it to play, but it is going to keep this Roseleaf alive. Although the Roseleaf would die to the melee creep in combat, so I definitely think it's worth it. If Bragi has Berserker's Call, I would definitely see that coming out right now. And yes, here it comes, Berserker's Call, which is going to finish off the melee creep and Bronze Legionnaire, and leave Roseleaf Druid alive with 2 health, which the melee creep will be able to deal with easily. So when you kill something right across from you, do you just attack straight, or do you get an arrow?
Mhm. In this case, I think you're drawing an arrow if it's during the deployment phase, or if there is a special event like you're summoning something, then it gets an arrow. In this case, it should attack straight, not
Okay.
getting an arrow.
And the lane should also collapse since there's a blank column now, so Axe should move down and Lycan should move down. There's never an empty column in this game.
And it would be a great turn for Time of Triumph, I think.
So 2 mana.
Unless we forget about 1 mana from Druid.
Right, so 3 mana already did get spent on Rumesk Blessing, so no Time of Triumph able to come out here for Gibbon. I think he did forget to add a mana. He should be at 8.
Yep.
So he's showing 7 on all 3 of his lanes. He should be at 8 on all 3 of his lanes.
Oh, one thing is just to note.
Actually,
X doesn't. Yep.
He should be at. He's right. It's 7. I was thinking 8 because of Roseleaf. He is at 7 though, right?
No, I mean about the way they're arranging heroes. X should be diagonally to another X.
Oh yeah. So sorry. You moved your axe over too many spaces. It should just be diagonally to your opponent's axe, Gibbon. So axe should be where Lycan is now, and Lycan should be 1 space to the right.
Yep.
So my apologies there for the mana.
Yeah, I think the best explanation for this, if there are 2 empty spots in front of each other, then the lane collapses. This line gets removed.
Does the arrow move down as well with axe? Is he still attacking diagonally?
Nope. That's why I delete arrows if it's not relevant anymore. So you see the deployment phase, if there's an arrow pointing to the tower, you just delete this arrow.
Okay. So yeah, both axes are attacking straight. These 3 arrows are irrelevant. But yeah, he did have 8 mana that turn thanks to Roseleaf Druid, so he could have played Time of Triumph. He's only holding 3 other cards there, so I guess there's a chance that he doesn't have Time of Triumph in hand. So, right, Roseleaf Druid gives you +1 mana. When it dies, though, that mana goes away, correct?
Yep.
Right. So 8 mana here on lane 2, just for right now.
The interesting thing about it is when you play him, you get this meta instantly.
Right, so he really only costs 3.
Yep, it's like playing Druid for free. And some other cards have really interesting effects, like the Tyler Estate.
Oh, yeah. Which one is that? Is black card?
Black 4 mana card.
Let's take a look. The Tyler Estate Censor. Enemy tower has -1 mana. Very interesting card.
It's both towers.
Oh. It looks like they edited the card.
No, you're just looking at another card. It's Tyler Estate Censor, and another one is Tyler Estate Improvement.
Oh, my bad. Both towers have -2 mana. That's very interesting. Symmetrical effects in card games are very interesting. You have to build your deck in a way that the symmetrical effect is an advantage to you, which can be hard sometimes. I guess with a card like this, you're building it to prevent big finisher cards from getting played by your opponent. Like, I guess you want to slow down their Time of Triumph or Bolt of Damocles. And maybe you're playing a deck that relies more on small cards.
But my initial idea was to play it against blue decks with annihilations to prevent this. So you
Right.
were buying yourself 2 more turns. And when you play it at the second turn, it just feels so insane.
Yeah.
One lane instantly goes to the 2 mana. Next turn it's 3 mana only, prevents dimensional portals and this kind of stuff.
The other thing is you could put another improvement like the Oath on that lane. Let's take a look at that. It's a black improvement that costs 3. It's you cannot play spells or creeps while this is the active lane. If there's an allied black hero in the lane, allies have +4 attack. So since you already have -2 mana on that lane, you're not going to be able to play any big spells anyway. You might as well plop down the Oath to give all your heroes +4 attack, and all of a sudden this lane becomes a big problem for your opponent. The Oath, one of those cards that seems tempting to put down earlier, but it's really good as more of a finisher card because it prevents you from playing in that lane. But I think that could definitely pair well with the minus mana mechanics.
It just sounds like you just watched this Swims video.
I have watched all those, but
The recent one about card combos.
I haven't seen that one yet.
So this is one of the combos he mentions in his video.
Gotcha, yeah.
16 card combos, I think.
Oh, yeah. Is that new? Did that just come out today?
Yep. 5 hours ago, I think.
Oh, I'm gonna have to check that one out. If you
Yep.
guys haven't seen the swim videos on YouTube, I'll post a link. This guy, I think, has posted the most in-depth strategy videos for artifacts so far. He goes through every single card and tells you what he thinks about them. He has been playing the closed beta for I think 6 months. So he knows what he's talking about. He's a Gwent player. And apparently he's very good he's very well known in the Gwent community. So if you're interested in learning this game at a high level, I would definitely recommend checking out the Swim Strim. Just Swim. His videos. They're very good. Alright, so Gibbon was unable to finish off lane 1 or 2 this round. Do you think that's going to be a problem for him going forward? I mean, 3 heroes coming out for Bragi now. I think Bragi definitely has the tools to slow this game down from here on out. Then again, I mean, look at these towers. 40 health, 40 health, and 31 health. What's his win condition?
Not just this. Even if you reset the board, how do you win moving forward? So you can stall the game, and what's next?
Yes, I completely agree with you. He might be able to drag this game out another round, maybe 2. But I'm not sure how he can deal 40 damage to a tower in lane 1 or 2. I just don't see it happening.
I kinda can imagine some sort of best case scenario if you play 2 annihilations. 2 turns later, you play some sort of Time of Triumph without all the creeps, and your heroes might be better. This might work.
He does have Ravage, Fissure. So if he plopped Earthshaker into lane 2, he could potentially Fissure Lycan and Axe. Where's his
creep only.
Where's his Tidehunter at? Oh yeah, Ravage is up as well. So, wait, he shows a 2-turn cooldown on Ravage. I don't think he used Ravage yet though, so it should be off cooldown unless I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, maybe he used it earlier. If you're watching, let me know. Did you use Ravage earlier? Where does Bragi put his heroes here? He's got 3 coming out. He needs 1 definitely in lane 1, I think, to play Annihilation. Um, and then I would also probably put either Earthshaker or Tidehunter in lane 2 to play Ravage or Fissure. And then maybe you put one hero in each lane. Tidehunter comes out for lane 1, so instead of using an Annihilation on lane 1, he's just going to go ahead and use Ravage. Oh, looks like Jamoy also coming to lane 1.
Okay, Earthshaker is getting lucky. It's 1 out of 3 that he's getting paired with a melee creep.
Yeah, if he got paired here, he would be pretty screwed.
Oh, yeah, but just looking at what's happening there, just based on the hero deployment, and that's a cool thing to think about, especially when you play in the game. Uh, you see this Tidehunter and Jabui. For me, just saying that there's no Annihilation, maybe not in the deck or not in the hand.
I completely agree with you. If Bragi had Annihilation, he would not have put his Tidehunter here in lane 1. He would just pop Jamoy down and then use Annihilation. Showing Tidehunter means he's not going to play it, or else Tidehunter would also die, and there's no reason for that. So, yeah, definitely revealing some information about his hand here. Maybe he's not... I'm not sure why you would play a blue deck without Annihilation. To me, that's the best card in blue.
Yeah, even aggro decks are putting at least 2 Annihilations in it.
All right,
You don't
so...
even have to play it. You just have to threaten it all the
Yes,
time.
agreed. I think that roll was a Ravage for Tidehunter. So, Treant Protector, this melee creep, and this Savage Wolf will all be stunned, which means they deal no damage during the combat phase, and also they are silenced, so Treant cannot play any green cards this round. So initiative passes over to Gibbon, but he's not going to be able to play anything. When you're silenced, actually, you can still play items, right?
You can equip them.
Yeah.
You can play active abilities. So active abilities of your hero, of your item, they're you're not able to use them anymore.
Right. So I think that roll did not hit the Savage Wolf, so this Savage Wolf is still going to kill Jamoy. 11 attack on a Savage Wolf, just completely nuts. In fact, I think it should be 12. I don't think he'd used his Mist of Avernus yet. I'm pretty sure it should be 12.
Indeed.
Not that it really matters. I think Jamoy's active should also be off cooldown, so he could use that to draw a card right now. With Treant and the Creep and the Wolf stunned, he doesn't have to play Annihilation. And he does keep this tower up for one more turn. What do you think about this here? Knowing that he was going to play Ravage, is there any reason to put Jamoy in lane 1? Maybe he has something like Conflagration he wants to play over in a different lane?
Really hard to say when you just see the deck and how it performs.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to think of possible ways how to play there or what would be the best deck when clearly you're just learning how to play this, exploring new heroes. So
Right.
if it was some sort of competitive match when both players bring their best decks,
Yeah.
it would be interesting.
Okay, so
Here it's hard to say.
Battlefield Control is coming out. I'm not sure who that got played on, because Tidehunter is not able to attack this Savage Wolf. Tidehunter also should not have taken any damage there since his neighbors are stunned. Oh,
Well, yeah. And thinking about all the possible shenanigans, uh, I think it would make sense. Was Savage Wolf stunned by the Ravage in front of
This
Jimmy?
one was not stunned. So, um, yeah,
Then it's
he
stunnable.
chose. He used battlefield control. Like I said earlier, when you choose a target, you can only choose one of your neighbors, so you can't go from Tidehunter to the Savage Wolf. That's not an option. So you can only choose one of these three guys for Tidehunter.
Well, then, answering the question, this might have been potentially a good play. If Ravage does work on this Savage Wolf, imagine having a Blink Dagger. You blink your Tide Hunter away. This lane is fine for this turn, and Jimui survives. Next turn, you have a blue hero, and if there's Annihilation for you, you reset the board.
Yes. So maybe he was hoping for that 50-50 there. But yeah, that would have been a really, really good play if that would have stunned the Savage Wolf. I mean, look at these Savage Wolves now. 13, 11, 7. That is just... this lane is out of control. But it's still alive. I mean, he hasn't gotten to the Ancient yet. Alright, over here. 6 health left on the tower. I guess the Fissure has to come out for Earthshaker. And really, that's all he needs to do to save this tower is play that Fissure. No reason to drop any other control cards right now.
Time of Triumph would be good. Why not?
Yeah, Time of Triumph would be really good. Hand of God comes out. That doesn't prevent stun. So, it doesn't really... I don't know. It's pretty situational card. It's Chen's signature card here. Fully heal each ally. Give allies damage immunity to this round. So, they won't be taking any damage, but they weren't really going to take much damage anyway. It will keep the melee creep in front of Axe alive, which is pretty important. But yeah, not exactly like a game changer right here. Fissure is still going to stun Axe and Lycan. Alright, so Fissure is getting played, which means Lycan and Axe are both stunned, silenced, and what's it called? Disarmed or whatever. No damage is going to go through on these creeps. Looks like Bragi does not, or let's see. Gibbon can't play anything, so initiative passes over back to Bragi. Initiative is going to pass to Gibbon in lane 3. Bragi might play Time of Triumph here. He's going to equip a Blink Dagger onto Earthshaker. Let's see if he plays a Time of Triumph before Earthshaker leaves. He does have a lot of cards. He says he has not drawn Annihilation yet.
Yeah, that's another thing I was thinking about. It's just really rare when you see no Annihilation for the player. Unless there are 2 copies of them.
So the Blink Dagger, if you drag it and press the minus button, if you just hold the Blink Dagger and start pressing minus, or you can just do it that way, I guess. Earthshaker's gonna blink away. I think you stacked Earthshaker on top of some arrows that might cause some problems in the game. You should delete the arrows before you put them there.
And it has to be a minus on the main board. The one on the numpad, I think, doesn't work. At least it doesn't work for me.
Okay. Yeah, drag both Earthshaker and the Blink Dagger off.
So it's an
And
Earthshaker to the
delete
first
those
lane.
arrows. Yep, Earthshaker goes to the first lane, which means he's probably hoping for that Annihilation. Alright, so with the Blink Dagger, drag it off of Earthshaker real quick.
Because one thing is that you're not
Oops.
choosing where to put your Earthshaker with the Blink Dagger. It's
Yeah.
random.
All right. Just a quick click and drag of the Blink Dagger off of Earthshaker real quick. I'll teach you how to do it. Just drag the Blink Dagger off. And then you're going to want to right click the Blink Dagger. And what do you go to prevent it from going to grid?
Right click toggles grid.
Yeah, so you want to untoggle the grid, and then you can place it in like the corner. It's one.
Just make sure you don't put it in the middle still.
Right.
You can put it to corners with ungrid.
It's like the fourth option down when you right click. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, don't put it in the middle though, or it'll do that. Now you have to redo it. Okay, so Earthshaker TP'd to lane 1. Bragi has got to be hoping to get. There you go. Bragi has got to be hoping to get his Annihilation up next round. He needs to finish off these creeps here. So lane 2, lane 1 both live to see another day. Lane 2 probably not going to survive next round. Action is in lane 3 right now. A fur-lined mantle comes onto Chen, giving him +8 health. So he's going to be able to survive another attack by LC, I think. Looks like these guys are still looking over at the other lanes. So if you're following on Twitch, the green hand is Gibbon, the red hand is Bragi, and I am the gray hand. Alright, initiative is on Gibbon. I think he just played a Furline Cloak, so it should be Bragi's turn over here in lane 3. All 3 lanes are in trouble here for Bragi. He still has not dealt a single point of damage to lane 1 and 2. It's very unclear what his win condition is. Does Axe go face? No. Since Axe is stunned, he deals 0 damage. Stunned is a combination of silence and disarm. Disarm means during the combat phase, stunned units deal no damage. So, Axe will not be going. Oh, Bragi's Axe. No, he's going to hit the melee creep, and the melee creep does not take any damage, since he has damage immunity. This melee creep will still be alive. So Axe hits this creep for nothing. So you might want to pull another creep right here. The creep was not stunned, right, but it does have magic immunity from Hand of God. So it doesn't do any damage to Axe, and it doesn't take any damage from Axe.
Well, he wouldn't take any damage either way.
Right.
With 2 armor.
Right.
Right there, it looks like a tower defense kind of game. And I'm just thinking about the actual game mode with asymmetric balance when one player is attacking and another one has to survive for X turns.
Yeah.
With Tide Hunters, Earthshakers, Annihilations, and so on.
But there's only so many cards that you can go into to win the game, even after all that tower defense. Really, this is the big one, Bolt of Damocles. Deal 20 damage to the enemy tower, but you need to deal 20 damage before you use this card to kill it, so he's not even halfway there.
And in this case, you need 2 of them.
Yeah, so you're going to have to last till turn 11 somehow and use all your mana for Bolt of Damocles, which means your opponent is going to be able to play as many cards as they want because you're not playing those control cards. Yeah, really not looking good here for Broggy. Not sure how he can recover. Alright, so actions in lane 3. Unfortunate arrow here for Legion Commander. She's going to be attacking this creep instead of the tower. So potentially the tower could have died this turn, but because of this arrow, the tower will live. Unless Gibbon could play something to kill this creep. He could... I'm not sure what cards he has, but maybe he has a card that could pick off this creep. That would finish the tower off. Time of Triumph getting played by Broggy here in lane 3. He had the opportunity to play that in lane 2.
And it's 2 off with Time of Triumph. Yeah. 6 from creeps and 8 from siege.
Oh, yeah. So Time of Triumph gets played by both Broggy and Gibbon. So that means Legion Commander is going to push 4 extra damage through on the tower, and Chen is also going to push 4 damage through. If you're not familiar, Time of Triumph is modify all allied heroes with +4 attack, +4 armor, +4 health, +4 cleave, +4 retaliate, and +4 siege. Just huge finisher card on turn 8. And what siege does is if the hero is blocked, it still pushes that damage through to the tower. So LC's blocked and Chen is blocked, but they're still both going to put 4 damage through. So it's going to be 8 from the 2 heroes, 2 from this creep, 2 from this creep, and 2 from this creep. So 8 plus 6 is 14. The tower will live with 2 health. Broggy living on the edge here. His LC also gets the cleave and the siege. So he's actually going to be able to finish off this melee creep and this melee creep, which could go a long way to saving his tower in the future. We'll see. We'll see. This Chen has 8 attack, 4 armor, 13 health. It's going to be really hard to finish off. I mean, we're going to see how long Broggy can last. He has been surviving longer than I thought, but look at his towers. 13, 4, and 10. He is living on the edge. I'm going to take a quick break for just a minute. I'll be right back. All right, we are back. Looks like combat is happening over here on lane 3. If you can't see, this Legion Commander has 10 attack, 6 armor, and 5 health. So, man, these guys are just tickling each other right here. But luckily, thanks to that cleave, she deals 4 damage to the neighbors of the target she has. So these 2 melee creeps do get finished off. 2 health left on this tower, though. I mean, does Broggy have the tools to keep his towers alive for 1 more turn? He can sacrifice 1 lane.
I don't think that even in theory there's a way.
I mean, what is his optimal hand here? I mean, if this Savage Wolf gets an arrow into Tidehunter, which is only a 25% chance.
Well, we can just take it for granted that first lane doesn't die somehow,
Yeah.
but you need another Blink Dagger, re-equip the Blink Dagger so it's off cooldown, and then you can blink your Earthshaker again and annihilate one of the lanes.
Yep. That's really the only option here.
But then there's a question, why would you blink away in the first place?
Yeah, why would you blink to lane 1?
Oh yeah, but another thing, if you blink with him again, there is a Savage Wolf on the left being unblocked.
True, true. So, really, I don't think there's any way for Froggy to survive here. This Savage Wolf goes straight, so that's also a big problem. I think he needs to annihilate this lane. Maybe you blink Tidehunter away and annihilate lane 1. And then if Tidehunter goes to lane 2, can he prevent the damage somehow? I don't think so.
I don't know, it definitely doesn't look like a $6 million Echo Slam anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, Echo Slam I think is just a very overcosted card for what it does. It just doesn't seem to have the impact of other 7 cost cards.
So I can see this as some sort of reaction to Kana attacks being all over the place. But if you're playing against an aggro deck, it comes too late into the game. Even Annihilation feels like it's too costly sometimes to play against aggressive fast decks.
Yeah. Broggy's asking, how do you re-equip a dagger? You need to buy another dagger and equip a new dagger. So it's not really re-equipping a dagger, it's equipping a new dagger, is what we're talking about.
Yeah, in that sense, yep.
Rebel Decoy coming out from Gibbon, which means he's going to be able to swap his Savage Wolf into a spot to attack the tower. I don't think there's any way besides Annihilation to save Tower 1.
And here's the tricky thing. If the arrow from Rebel Decoy goes to Earthshaker, so to the right, even if he swaps with a Savage Wolf, he still will attack an Earthshaker. So
That's
if arrow
interesting.
so in this case, it would be better to play Rebel Decoy next to the
To
right
the
to
right,
the
yeah.
Savage Wolf. Yep.
I didn't know that was how it worked. So Compel comes out. Choose a unit. Choose a combat target. Draw a card. He chooses to do Compel on the Savage Wolf to attack his Tidehunter. Unfortunately, though, Rebel Decoy can just negate that by. If you guys aren't familiar with Rebel Decoy, it's a 3-cost green unit, and it has an active with a 1-turn cooldown, which means you can use it every turn. Swap Rebel Decoy with another ally. So, Compel got used to target the Savage Wolf into Tidehunter, but Rebel Decoy can swap that Savage Wolf, so it's attacking the tower, potentially.
Yeah.
Instead,
but they didn't draw an arrow card for Rebel Decoy.
yeah, there should be an arrow card here. There is a 25% chance that it targets into Earthshaker, and there's a 75% chance it goes either straight or left. And look at this. Annihilation finally coming out. That was basically the only way to save this lane. Finally gets rid of these Savage Wolves. Honestly, way too late. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 3 turns too late. But better late than never. Alright, so lane 1 survives for now. Can he prevent 4 damage on lane 2 or 2 damage on lane 3? Looks like his best bet is probably lane 2. With Time of Triumph on lane 3, there's really no way to block both LC and Chen from pushing 4 damage through on that tower in lane 3. So it's lane 2 or bust.
Can you see how many cards in Braga's deck right now?
Yeah, he's got 18 cards left in his deck. And he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 spells in hand and 1 item card. And also, there's 3 cards right here. I'm not sure what these are.
So an interesting thing, if we assume that he didn't have Annihilation last turn, and he just drew it for this one.
He said that he didn't have it. He said he just drew it.
So if he just drew it,
Yeah.
there's a 12% chance that it happens to you in an actual game.
Yeah.
But that you don't draw 80 annihilations by this turn with so many cards being drawn.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. Especially because he has... Oh, he says he just drew it with the Compel. So he didn't even have it yet. It's the Compel that let it come out. Really, really bad draws there. Even with Jamoy drawing cards, well, drawing a card, that 4-turn cooldown is crazy. And I think he's played 2 Compels. So even with all that extra card draw, just getting the Annihilation now. So unfortunately, he can't prevent the damage here on lane 2. It goes to the Ancient, 80 health left, and he still has not put a single point of damage on lane 1 or 2, still both at 40.
Oh, okay. So if it's from Compel, then it's even less. 10% chance that it happens to you.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
so
bad.
GG is called. Bragi just seemed like he was on the back foot this whole game. He had no way to push these towers at all. I think his deck lacked a bit of a win condition. And he was able to control the game for a while, preventing tower damage, but I mean, Time of Triumph is such a good finisher card. It's really hard to prevent damage going through after Time of Triumph gets played. Just 4 siege on all your heroes is really good at pushing that damage. Not only that, but those Savage Wolves on lane 1 got, especially with Mist of Avernus, got so much value.
But truth be told, it was a cheaty Savage Wolf. He shouldn't be. So the right Savage Wolf he played, there shouldn't be a gap.
Yeah. So
So the entire game he was getting additional 2 armor. I don't think that it would change anything, but still.
right. So I think the placement of that Savage Wolf is a little questionable when it came out, but still, good plays from Gibbons. Yeah. So we're all kind of in the same boat, Ragi. A lot of us are just messing around with different cards right now. I definitely would recommend you replacing Jamoy the Wise with anything else. Honestly, I would try replacing Jamoy with Luna or Zeus. I think that would be way better.
Well, it just comes with practice. Just few games and it's gonna be fine.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys enjoyed the commentary on your game. In the past I've done a lot of commentary on Imperial Assault. I definitely think it helps to watch a game with someone else's point of view, especially since we got someone who actually knows what they're talking about in Don right here with us. That's very helpful also. So it's good to get a couple other people's point of view on your play, even though sometimes if you lose, it can be hard to hear if you're doing something wrong. But it'll help you get better for sure.
It's even more valuable since we don't have any replay systems right now in TDS. You can record it using OBS, but it's not really that great.
So Gibbon is asking for our full assessment of what we think of these two decks. Do you mind revealing the cards that you have in your deck, the full set, so we can take a really close look? If you could just flip your card and draw your deck, that would be great. So you can also promote me to. How do you do that? Make me
So
black or something?
the host
Uh-huh.
should change your color to black. I think
Yeah.
he should be able to do this.
Yeah, if you could just go to my name in the top right and change me to black, I will be able to see your hand. Or you can just make me the host. That works too. Alright, how do I make myself black? Oh. Alright, I am now the host.
You can do it here. Because previously, where you see this gray dot,
Yep.
where you can choose being a spectator, there was a black dot on top of that to become a game master.
Alright,
I'm not
so
exactly
we can
sure why
take a
it's still
look.
available.
Do you want to take a look at Broggy's deck first, or Gibbons? Let's take a look at Broggy's deck. He's running 3 Red Mist Pillagers. So these guys, you need a wide board for them to start ramping out of control. These guys are similar to the Savage Wolves in that if you leave them alone, they can really cause problems. But they're a little bit slower than Savage Wolves, and they don't have as much health. So a creep could potentially take care of them before they start to spiral. In a red-blue deck, I'm not sure that going wide is what you want to do.
I would say that it's some sort of niche card. It's a really cool card, but you need a specific meta for it.
Agreed,
Because
yeah.
there are some things that hate this card, like conflagration or other things of the same effect, or if you're not able to, as you've said, go wider with your opponent, then
Yeah.
it doesn't work too.
Yeah, the big thing about Red Mist Pillager is Conflagration just completely destroys them. Conflagration, again, deal 2 damage to each enemy before the action phase. That'll just kill every Red Mist Pillager that's there, so you really need a way to beef up their health first, or provide them with armor, and I don't think blue has any tools to do that. So
I'm not even sure if it was a red green that you're going to do this.
right. Instead, you should definitely be running Bronze Legionnaires. They act as really good chump blockers, and at 4 damage, 2 armor, and 2 health. We've talked about them earlier. They're probably the best efficiency unit in the game. I would run 3 of these in every single red deck, no question. Definitely less situational than Red Mist Pillager. I mean, just look at the stats: 4-0-2 for Red Mist at 5, and 4-2-2 at Bronze for only 2. That's just way more value.
Well, I wouldn't say that they're interchangeable. Like you can have both. They're just for different things. Bronze Legionnaire is just a note to include for you,
True.
and if you have enough space for a Red Mist Pillager, go for it.
Can you
Because cool thing about it, you only need one hero on the lane, and if you already want the lane, you don't need any more heroes. You play Red Mist Pillager and put so much pressure on it.
let's take a look at the rest of this deck here.
For me, the biggest problem here are heroes in general.
Yeah, I will agree with you there. So he's also playing enough magic, which is another control spell. So he's all in on control, basically. The problem with this deck is there's no win condition. There needs to be a way to push damage through. Maybe he was thinking his win condition was to be going wide with the red mists and them somehow getting out of control. But it's just such an unreliable thing for you to expect those to go out of control. I mean, they look, just looking at the card, maybe if you're not familiar with all the control cards in the game, you might think that get one or two of these guys down on a lane and you can win the lane, but there's just so many ways for them to be countered. Even just melee creep spawns could just completely block them.
I think that the deck is mostly fine. Maybe some cards need a replacement, like uh, Pika Fight and New Orders might be too much there. You've seen me play in Messenger Rookery, and I really like it with a Bristleback.
Yep.
It's an insane card. Maybe a few New Orders, but you don't really need that many of them.
What does taunt mean? That means everyone attacks you? All your
Yeah.
neighbors?
So it might be a good thing for you, or might be a bad thing for you if you don't wanna.
So it's basically Berserker's Call, but it doesn't force a combat immediately.
Yep.
Okay. Enough Magic here is a 5-mana spell which proceeds directly to combat phase.
One.
Yeah, so that's... I mean, there's 3 in the deck. Even if you're going to run this, I would definitely not run 3. It's a very situational card. You're basically relying on your red big bodies to do the work for you with this. Bragi says the main thing I wanted to try out is control with choosing battle paths. So
So I think if you want to try this, I think you really want to play Bristleback, because this is one of the heroes that benefits the most from changing directions. If you're able to ensure this early game kills and
yeah,
start
I
getting
completely
Barroom
agree with
Broma.
that. I think Tidehunter is a really questionable choice in this deck just because Enough Magic is a spell where you're saying, my heroes are better than your heroes. Let's make them fight. Tidehunter only has 2 attacks, so really, like, who is he gonna kill if you play enough magic? He can't even kill a melee creep. So you know those 2 cards don't really synergize at all. Looks like he's only playing 2 Annihilations. So maybe I would add a third one. But yeah, I definitely agree. I would put in Bristle or Legion Commander if you're going to be playing a strategy where... Or wait, was he playing Legion Commander? Yeah, he was.
So here it's more about heroes than the deck. The deck is mostly fine.
Yeah,
For me, enough magic is too situational, and maybe bolts. I've tried to use them myself, but you
yeah.
need initiative sometimes. With this might mess your plans.
I think Bolt is fine if you have enough control. Oh, he does have 3 Annihilations. It's not a 3 of card, but you can just win the game with it sometimes. I think it really depends on your deck. I would find a way to put Conflagration into this deck. It's just such a good card. I get the idea with the choose combat targets, but I think you were overvaluing them a little bit because you thought that you could choose any target in the lane, but it actually has to be one of your neighbors.
With the battlefield control, it's any unit.
Oh, it is. Which ones are the just your neighbor ones? The
I don't think that there's any.
Oh, didn't we tell him that you could only choose your...
Well, you're just choosing the. You're just changing the arrow. So it's not the thing that you can. That there's a really wide board and you can choose your leftmost hero to
Right,
attack the rightmost hero on
right.
the other edge.
New Orders is the same
It's
way.
the. Yep.
So yeah, you
So
have to
same.
choose one of your
Pick a fight.
neighbors. Yeah, pick a fight. I think probably running 9 cards that are choose a combat target is a little bit much.
Right. Because even without it, you can still do fine. You don't really need that many of them.
Right. Because you are fully committed to this idea. I think it'd be better to have a little bit more control options.
And if you want to just messenger rookery, it's if
That's
you
true.
draw it.
Yeah, that's like basically the same as having all of those. So if you take a look over here, Messenger Rookery is a 1-point upgrade. Choose an ally, choose a combat target for it. I mean, this is a card that keeps giving you that every turn, so you're not going to have the problems with running out of cards. It's
Right.
so.
Orders every turn.
I mean, Messenger Rookery is worth about 3 of Pick a Fight. Or sorry, 3 of New Orders.
And I'm not sure about Bolt still. You already have so many win conditions, like Time of Triumph and Red Mist Pillager. If you run Red Mist Pillager, you don't really need Bolt, I think.
I agree with you there, but I'm not convinced that Red Mist Pillager is a good win condition. All right, well, let's take a look over here at Gibbons' list. Red-green is definitely an interesting combo, just because red has the best minions in the game, and green has some cards that can beef them up, specifically that upgrade Mist of Avernus, which is modify allies with +1 attack before the action phase. I think with green, typically, you have an advantage in the latter lanes, lane 2 and 3, because you can drop Mist of Avernus from lane 1 and immediately get that +1 attack bonus. We did see it dropped on lane 1 this time, but a lot of the time you'll see it dropped on lane 2 and 3. He does have some ramp stuff with Roseleaf Druid and Stars Align. It looks like he's actually not running... what's the ramp? The other ramp card for green? Celamene's Favor. So he's not fully committed to the ramp, which, you know, it's fine. I don't think you should be or have to be. If you can cheat out a Time of Triumph a little early with Roseleaf Druid and your Stars Align, I think that's really good. But again, it's like it's a little bit unreliable. Stars Align plus Time of Triumph on turn 6 is very good, though.
Yeah, but if you choose one of them, I think Salamana's Favor is just generally better. If it's either Stars Align or Salamana's Favor, go for Salamana's Favor.
All right, sorry, I haven't been following the chat, so he says... Soph says, the thing is that you play Axe and Legion Commander because they are good, but they come with 6 signature cards that don't care about combat target, so you are already attacking what you want. You only need a few extra cards that do it before it's too much. That's a really good insight there, Soph. I totally agree with that. Duel already lets you pick the combat target, and so does... And Berserker's Call attacks 3 things, so not that important for a combat target there, so... really, the combat target thing is just like, it doesn't work with Tidehunter at all. It's just kind of all in, and I think it'd be better in red black. Honestly, like you don't want your blue heroes to be doing. Blue heroes don't have enough damage to take full advantage of that. You can use it defensively sometimes to prevent your blue heroes from taking damage, but even that is less reliable than some of the other control options. Swapping heroes is more reliable than choosing target. Alright, what else about Gibbons' deck can we say? He's also running Red Mist Pillager, but he does have Rumesk Blessing, so he can beef them up a bit so they won't just immediately die to something like Conflagration. He's also running 3 Corrosive Mists. Corrosive Mist is a good card, but I don't think it's a 3-of card. It's really good against the gold ramp decks.
And gold ramp would destroy this deck. It's really good against red green.
Yeah. So even with the 3 Corrosive Mists, I think you're overcommitting against a deck you're already weak against. So yeah, I might cut one of these probably. I think the heroes on this side are a lot better. Axe, Lycan, Chen, and who else did he have?
Questionable, but I can see this idea. I like the idea in theory of playing Hand of the Gods or Hand of Gods, whatever Hand of God, whatever it is. Then place in a Time of Triumph next turn.
Yeah, true. So he does have some combo pieces or ramp up pieces there. Also, Hand of God can help keep those Red Mist Pillagers alive if you do end up sticking one to the board. Chen also does have a way to counter the gold ramp decks with his stealing the creep if they put down a alpha, Horn of the Alpha. But again, like we said earlier, it's kind of easy to play around.
Yeah, what I don't like about this, Chen is really cool and might be a good answer. The only thing is, in some decks, in some matchups, you see that there's a thing you don't really want to play against. It is really good against your deck, but you still see some indirect ways of countering this. Like conflagration might be really tough against certain decks, but you can still find some ways to play around this, even if you don't have anything against this specifically.
Right.
So the same with the gold deck. If you even if you're playing against this and you see Chen, there are still some indirect ways of countering this by just unit placement
Yep.
or some other ways. Like
Well, with
straight up
a red
removing the
black
Chen
deck, you
from the
also
game.
have a lot of ways to get rid of Chen before he can steal your creep.
Yep, just coup de grace this guy.
Right. So he blinks somewhere. You have initiative. You could just coup de grace or duel or whatever. Yeah, I think in my mind it seems like blue red and black red are the lists to beat right now. I mean, I have very limited experience, but it seems like those 2 decks are very strong against a lot of other decks.
At least in TDS, yep. I would say that they are tier 1. Maybe
Yeah.
some sort of aggro deck, but I'm yet to see a good one. Not many players playing.
Yeah, I don't think there's enough aggro tools yet. There's just no way to finish off the tower before like turn 6 when Annihilation comes out.
Yep, exactly my thought about black. It feels like it's missing 1 or 2 crucial cards.
Yeah, I mean,
Something along the lines of Relentless Pursuit.
when you think aggro to me, I start with Sorlacon because Assault Ladders, if you can go wide, you can deal with a tower really quickly. But it's just a little too slow because Assault Ladders you play for 3 and then you have to get some creeps down to take advantage of it. And by the time you get to turn 6, you don't have enough, and then you get annihilated, and all that you work for is just worthless.
That's why you run Tyler State in your deck. At least that's what I was exploring. Maybe it's not the best card.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. You run Tyler Estate, you run Sorlacon, and you run the Oath. I mean, it just seems like it's, like a card or 2 off. But with that, I mean, you're putting a lot of damage if you can control a lane. Especially with the Oath.
Talking about decks, I think you have this deck, the one you just played. So Gibbon is asking which decks would you suggest to try out? I think gold, red, black is definitely the deck to try.
Here, I'm
It's very
going
strong.
to load the deck that I put together.
Yeah, just
So
pull
you
this
guys
deck.
can so you can just take this deck and save it as an object so you can try this deck out. Okay. So this is my black-red deck. It's got PA, Bounty Hunter, Lich, Legion Commander, and Axe. And then there are 15 signature cards. Actually, I thought I cut this down to 40. For some reason, there's 3 extra cards in here. You want to take a look at this deck with me? I have 3 times a Triumph. That's really my win condition. Ogladai Vandal's good because he pushes damage through on the tower and presents you with a body. So I think he's probably Black's best minion. I have Mercenary Exiles, which is maybe a little bit questionable, but they're another like 1 armor, 4 health is pretty annoying to get rid of. I'll probably cut a gank. It has the full. It's got the full gold package.
Time of Triumph is questionable here.
You think so?
Yep. That's what I've also heard from Ruse, and if you know the Captain Dirge, they've been play testing this deck specifically a lot, and I kind of agree with them. I'm not having my Times of Triumph in this deck, as real win condition is an insane amount of gold you're generating and all your items, Horns of the Alpha. You don't need Times of Triumph. You
Yeah.
don't even need the Oath.
Yeah. So I have 2 of the Oath in there. So I don't know. I was messing around with a couple different ways to go with this. I like the smash their defenses because you kind of need a little bit more card draw with this deck.
Leech is interesting. Yeah.
Um,
I think I'm gonna try to test him.
yeah,
This kind of deck.
because like we saw in my game, if you can get 2 paydays off in a row, like your gold just goes nuts. So you need the duels, you need the coup de grace, because killing heroes is really what ramps your gold up also. But yeah, this deck has 3 cards too many in it, so I gotta cut 3 cards.
And there was another video by Better Tester. He put this deck as one of the tier 1 decks, one of the 3 tier 1 decks.
Yeah.
So what he said is the core of this deck, there might still be unreleased cards that fit there better, but Bounty Hunter, PA, Legion are staple of the deck. So Axe might be changed for something else, and another slot is Leech in your case. So Legion, PA, Bounty for gold and kills in general. So that's your core of the gold deck.
Yep.
And some cards like Payday. I think Payday is the most important one. Hipfire. He also said that Horn of the Alpha for sure.
Yep.
And Peak Off maybe. So, and the rest is tweakable.
Yeah. Pick off, huh? I don't have that in here. Do I? That is a 4 cost card.
So I'm even thinking about all the cards, everything, including Peak Off, Hipfire, and Gank. And maybe cutting Gank later.
Yeah, I think 3 of gank is too many. Maybe I'll cut one of those.
And maybe even cutting Iron for Goldmine. It's cool
Really?
for early game if you get this early healing salve or fountain flask. But overall, your biggest card here is Trek or Payday.
True, true. Yeah, I don't think I would cut many more red cards because we only have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So that's 80. So I could cut some more red cards actually. You want what, between like 5 and 8 cards per hero?
I would cut the Oath and Times of Triumphs there. Not sure about Vandal too in this deck. You don't really need the Vandal here.
Yeah. Let's.
And thinking about Smash their defenses, of what improvement would you have problems against?
Um, well, we'd like to get rid of. Hmm, that's a good question. Because conflagration doesn't really bother us with our armor.
right? Sanctum, maybe?
Yeah,
Do we really care
Sanctum's
about it?
really annoying. I just really put it in for the card draw. And I'm only running 2 of. So maybe I'll cut one of them. Yeah, pick off, I can see how that's very useful. So let's see, what are we up to now? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 23 black cards between 3 heroes. It's about 8 up per.
Wait, you just don't count signature cards. So don't count Chain Frost and
Oh,
Track.
okay.
So the
Or
way
coup
I
de
do it
grace.
is just one hero for 5 cards on average. And
Okay, so we got
can
3,
go
6, 9, 12, 15, 16, 17. So we're a little bit over. We could cut two black cards. I guess we'll cut. I don't know. I kind of like the Ogladai Vandals. It's just like a decent body, can get rid of creeps, and does tower damage. It's kind of a little bit of everything. For the red cards we have 1, 2,
So one thing
3, 4,
about
5,
this,
6, 7, 8,
just
9.
about the game in general, you're pushing lanes when you either kill the creeps, it's just obvious, or when you're with some heroes when you're killing other heroes. So in this case, if their heroes are always at the fountain, your heroes keep pushing the lane, so you don't really need this Vandal to do this for you.
Okay, I'll cut some Vandals. Let's see. Let's move these signature cards out of here.
And you have a question of what do you think about the 3-day tweet gap?
The 3-day tweet gap? You mean
Yeah,
from Play Artifact? They haven't said anything since the tournament?
yep.
I don't know what to think of that, man. I mean, they've been so mysterious. What am I supposed to know? Alright, how many cards do we have here?
There
3.
was a removed thread on Reddit talking about when the beta is.
Oh,
I
really?
don't know. Yeah, I don't know how credible it is. It's just 2 sentences.
What did it say?
I can try to find the exact spelling. So, just the idea is that the Twitch overlay is ready, and this is a detail that I think might point that it's not really a trolling post, because if somebody was trying to troll you, they would say that the beta is coming at this date.
Hey, thanks for the
That's
follow,
usually
guys. Yeah, yeah.
that's usually the main point. And here he also mentions that the Twitch overlay is ready. So why would you add this
Huh.
little detail in the first place? That's what caught my attention. And the rest is that the beta is gonna be at the end of the October, and it's gonna be
Well, they didn't say the end of October. They said October. And it's
no,
already
I mean
halfway
that's what
through.
this quotation mark leak guy
Ah,
told. So that it's gonna be at the end of October with pre-orders. That's what it said. No idea how credible it is. But if Twitch overlays a thing, it's great.
yeah, agreed. Well, my perspective is I don't see why they wouldn't offer beta access with pre-orders. Like they're going to have to offer something with pre-orders, right? Why not beta access?
I keep convincing myself the same way But until there's a confirmation, you're still thinking that what if?
I mean, they've said in the past that there's going to be other ways to get beta access. I know they've been kind of coy about it, but it's not costing them anything. I think people are overvaluing how much beta keys are worth. I can't see why they would just do a closed beta until November 28th. I mean, the beta is only going to last a month and a half right now. And if it comes out in late October, it's just a month of beta. Like, just have an open beta. I don't understand why not.
The same. My only question is, why wouldn't you say that it's gonna be pre-order then? It's not gonna hurt. People are gonna start complaining about when the pre-order is, but how is it different from asking for pre-orders?
Right. I need one more card in this deck. Yeah, I'm not freaking out about it. I have a feeling that I'm going to be able to find a way into the beta. A lot of people are just going nuts right now. It's crazy.
I'm fine with that since we have tabletop simulator. Even if not, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, a lot of people are complaining about Tabletop Simulator, but I mean, it's not that bad to be honest. I think it's fine.
Well, there are so many things you're learning from this. You're
Yeah.
just getting used to some timings of
Well,
things like timing cards like Berserker's Calls, Annihilations.
the other thing is, hey, thank you so much for the follow. The community in Tabletop Simulator, I think, is a lot better than once the beta comes out because you actually have to talk to your opponent and you have to talk through everything. So it's kind of like you're working together to learn the game. I think that's way better than what we're going to get with the actual game client. So there are some advantages to Tabletop Simulator as well. You get to meet some people in the community, and that's good. And not only that, but I think the people that are dedicated enough to play on Tabletop Simulator are the type of people that want to be competitive in the game. So a lot of the people here, maybe the pool of players is going to be a little stronger than the average pool.
Right.
All right, I need one more card. What do you think? Another gank? I think 3 ganks might be too much. Maybe another.
It's hard to choose. So this is what I'm gonna test in the next days. Heapfire, Peak Off, somebody. I think Heapfire
I have 3 of those.
is mandatory here.
I have 3 of those.
I wasn't using this because I've had an impression. What if there's another get initiative card for black?
Hey,
That might be better than Heapfire, but after seeing the video by a tester talking about Heapfire being a core in this kind of deck.
yeah, I can see how it's core. Hey, thank you so much for the follow, Soph. Appreciate that.
So I have an impression that there's no better card for initiative in black. And alright, let me play this then. It just feels a little bit more awkward compared to red cards. So these very cheap Kraken shells and Fight for the Pains.
Hmm. Well, with Lich, you also have his signature card gives you initiative as well.
Right, that's a cool idea.
So
This is what I'm gonna test too. Leech or Sniper in the same slot. Either of them.
oh yeah, I haven't looked at Sniper. 5 damage or 5 combat, 6 health. He's got an active ability on a 3-turn cooldown. Deal 5 damage to a unit. And he also has Assassinate, which can be played into any lane. Deal 10 piercing damage to a unit in any lane. That actually, I think, does fit this archetype pretty well. Although Assassinate might be a little too slow. But
it's cross lane. That's what important.
very,
Against
yeah.
blue decks with Annihilations, you just assassinate their blue hero.
Right. So I think if you're running sniper, it's very important to win lane 1. That way you can pick off lane 2 and 3 from lane 1.
Yeah, makes sense.
For now,
And
let's
one
add in another Vandal, I guess. So you can't really go wrong.
and one combos we mentioned as well, Hipfire. It shows showcases a sniper on it. You play Hipfire if you have an initiative in the lane. You get another initiative, and then you play Headshot by a sniper, and that's 9 damage.
Mm,
Usually, it might be enough to kill one of the heroes before he can cast anything.
yeah. Yeah, that's pretty important for playing against blue. You definitely need to pick off those blue heroes in the important mana turns. All right. I'm going to get out of this game and see if there's another game going on that we can watch. Let me just take a look from the main menu. It doesn't look like right now there is a game up. I think I'm actually going to take a break for now. It's 1 o'clock, so we are at the end of the stream for today. But I hope you guys all enjoyed the content I brought you today, and I want to give a big thanks to Don for sticking with us through this stream. Your insight was greatly appreciated, man, so definitely appreciate that. And hopefully we catch you on later. The next stream is scheduled for tomorrow evening, so if you're interested, tune in then. And as always, if you like this content, be sure to follow or subscribe, or check out my Facebook page, which is listed at the bottom of this video. So thanks again to everyone watching and to Don, and we'll see you guys next time.